Hello, everybody. It's time for All Day Both Ways. You've got me, Andrew Hall, sitting here in the chair. We've got Jordan Rains sitting next to me. How you doing, Jordan?
I am gravy, baby. It's Friday morning. It's a little early. My kids were giving me some hassle this morning, but they're going to swim lessons. So I am ready to jump into some all day both ways with you, my guy. What episode is this? This is episode 6, 7. We're
I
scooting
think it's
along.
episode 7. We should start numbering them because that'd be easier for me to keep track. But yeah, we're getting there. And I think, too, people, if you're listening now, if you're watching us live, if you're tuning in later in podcast form, whatever you want to do, I definitely recommend going back and listening to some of the other ones if you haven't, because I think we walked through a lot of the things that make this platform fun. But today, really, what we're going to jump into is kind of some of the stuff that we've seen lately and kind of some of the updates and kind of getting ready for 2023. So I've got some different angles I want to do for that while we're sitting here at the end of June, early July for some people listening. Does that sound okay to you, Jordan, if we talk about next year? Because I'm good with
Yes.
talking about the past, but let's move forward, right?
Yes. Yes. 100%. Actually, that's what I was wanting to talk to you about. Is like, how can I, because last 2 weeks ago, we're doing every other week right now, y'all.
Yep.
So we talked a little bit about own the moment and kind of the bridge between NFTs, the NFL all day, and then also fantasy sports, which is where Andrew and I originally know each other from. So I know Andrew spent some time this last week with the own the moment guys, stuff like that. So I'm doing my fantasy prep. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm doing my NFL all day prep here. So this is the one moment. This is the moment, you know what I'm saying, where we get to combine them all together and really
That's
learn
right.
about that continued spearhead of the next thing. So for fantasy and these moments. So I'm interested in learning about that and kind of how I can prep for 2023 so that I can, go out there and make a difference, make a name for myself.
Amen to that. So earlier this week, On the Moment did a live stream. It was pretty much a 2023 get ready for the season type of live stream where they had a bunch of different people come on in different walks of life in NFT space and On the Moment type related spaces. And there was an hour and a half on, I think it was on Tuesday, if I recall, from 4:30 to 6, where there were three of us on for some On the Moment podcast talk, so to speak. So I was on representing, of course, All Day Both Ways. And then they had two of the other guys from All Day All Night, which is another terrific podcast. Love those guys. We're more of a spaces, and they have a terrific community. They do a lot of good work out there too. So Stone Cold and Mr. X both dropped by too. And so we were really just talking about some of the things that we expect to see from Dapper and from, just generally from All Day as a company and all this. And just kind of got into some of the weeds on that. Highly recommend you go listen to it. Again, it was from the hour and a half to 3 hour mark, I think, in the live stream. But again, the
I'll
whole thing was awesome. Don't get me
I'll
wrong. It
make
was
sure
awesome.
to put the link to that show in the description of this on YouTube and on the podcast, y'all. So you can go get. You don't have to get the TLDR. You can go listen to the whole thing. But
Well, and really though, the thing I wanted to simplify on this is we talked about a lot of topics on there, right? And there were a lot of people in the chat that were kind of gassing me up, which was kind of nice to feel. But I was just kind of going in on it. TJ was there hosting from On the Moment, and I was just kind of not ranting per se, but just kind of going in about all the things I love about this and all the things I would love to see come out of this, and like how I wish we were doing more with the real life community, and how Series 3 is going to have a bunch of new things and new mechanics to it, and how we need to keep mint counts low. Like we talked about a lot of great things, and I really do recommend anybody who's interested in kind of wanting to get excited, definitely go listen to me for 90 minutes, get really excited. You'll get excited. I think a lot of people sent me DMs. I got a lot of invites on Discord and things like that from people that are like, you know what you're talking about, come on in. I'm like, okay, I'm fine.
you
But no,
do.
I know it was a great time, but it was still like one of those things where when when I get excited, I can't stop, man.
That's the
it's
way to
such a fun
be.
time for me. Yeah,
That's what we
it's just a
want.
good
That's what
time to
we
be a
want.
football fan. Yeah.
I love it. Hey, another thing, maybe I don't know if those guys would be open to it or not. I mean, it sounds like it was a really good show. Like I said, I was only able to tune in for about 5 minutes of the live stream. I'll link it here. Maybe they would be open to even cross posting it across our feed, after they have it up for a week or two, just so people that maybe don't want to go hunting for it, they can find it. So I'll do some work on the back end, try to see if I can weasel our way in there and make sure the people can see you at your absolute best, hear that
Love
hour
it.
and a half long rant of excitement.
Love it. Yeah, and I can reach out to TJ too. He's the one that kind of put it on. Maybe he'd be cool with that too. I think it's anything that helps get this word out is good, and anything that we can do to spread the word and kind of evangelize in a way this all day product, I think, is always going to help. Again, our motive here, our main thought process with All Day Both Ways is to try to get new people on board and to try to help the people that may not be as familiar with the product get introduced. Because again, like Jordan said earlier, we're both coming from the fantasy space, right? We're both fantasy football players first, and then football fans second, and then all day NFT fans third, in a way, right? And so my logic is there's a lot of other football fans, there's a lot of other fantasy players that don't know anything about all day. They might be commercial too, they might have seen something online, but they don't know enough to be dangerous. And we're here to make them dangerous. We're here to give them that knowledge to feel confident. And that is exactly what I was able to talk about on the show too. And again, all the night more on the, super deep down the rabbit hole kind of guys and have a ton of really big discussions and conversations, which is great too. But I feel like sometimes those can go over the head of new users, and we're here to try to help onboard people. I think that's kind of where I think we can stand out. So if you're listening, we appreciate you. Shout out. But I want to mention here too, while we're in this mode, onboarding is definitely something I'm passionate about. And I actually released on Twitter a couple of days ago now, a user guide, pretty much a new user walkthrough from going from zero to putting your credit card in during the starter playbook. Because I think that's the part that most people have the most question about. They get to the website and they go, what next? Where do I go? And that's not anybody's fault. I'm not hammering on all day for this. I just feel like that's the way any website is, right? It's just like, where do I go next? And if it's a website you're not familiar with, you might not know where to go. You might want to poke around a little bit. That's totally fine. But what I went through on that document, which we'll share in the notes here, and you can find it on my Twitter and everything. We'll post it again over and over, I'm sure. But the point is, this takes you from zero to everything, really. Here you go. Got it pulled up. So this is literally just a Google Doc at this point, where we're just trying to show you some of the screenshots, some of the places to click, and just walk you through it. Now, I'm not going to do that on this show today. Maybe we get deeper down this rabbit hole with someone else. Maybe we get some new users on that need the help and we can do it live. I know, Jordan, you and I talked about this a little bit before we started recording, where I can go further with this kind of discussion and say, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? And have more specific walkthroughs on this. I think that's probably a good idea for new users. But again, the logic being, if you need help with this, I am literally here to help. I want to get you into this product. I want you to have fun with it. I want you to enjoy it as much as I do. So logically speaking, I felt like the easiest way to do that is to have a document you can use at your own leisure and kind of go about your own pace. But in addition to this, what I sent out on Twitter was I said, hey, if you send me a DM and say, hey, I'm a new user, I don't have an account, can you help walk me through this? The first 3 people that complete the starter playbook that I can see completed the playbook, send me a screenshot saying you completed it, right? Once you do that, I will send you 3 moments from my own collection for free. So the first 3 people that go through and do this process, they get all uploaded. They pay the $10 to start a playbook, which you get back as part of the playbook rewards. You get that playbook to be completed. You get it $10 on the actual Dapper Market, where you can go buy moments with that $10. So the point of this is to get you on board, get a little money in the ecosystem, and see how it goes. And to be honest, it's $10, and you get moments for those $10. And I'll give you 3 more moments to sweeten the pot. So first 3 people that send me that DM that start the process and finish the process. I've had a couple that have reached out that have already started. So you're a little behind, but everybody's at their own speed. So if you're aggressive and want to get this done, I have not awarded any of those 3 packs yet. And I mean, again, first 3 across the finish line is what we're looking for, not first 3 that start. So if you've got questions, that's what I'm here for. Send me a DM, check out the doc. Jordan, what do you think of that?
I think you're doing the Lord's work. I mean, you're out here, you did the same thing for me. You sent me my first pack a moment, kind of got me down the rabbit hole, started doing some of my starter playbooks. I think a couple of them are 15 yards, like you said, it's a slow process, but it's, I think the instant gratification of it all is not really what this is about. You know what I mean? Like, you get the moment, but they give you things to do with it, to interact with it. So, for me, the most interesting or curious part of all this, again, is always going to come back to the fantasy part.
Yep.
I think it's, again, that's going to give people the itch, if you give them some of these moments. But I want to circle kind of back to your call the other day, or your show the other day. What
Yeah.
would be what to you was your biggest sort of takeaway from that gathering, I guess we could call it? What was your biggest takeaway?
Sure. So I think the one thing, well, there are a couple of things that I want to mention, but the one thing that comes to mind first is I do believe that we're in good hands. I do believe that the leadership at All Day has the users in mind. I think that they're worrying about the collectors more than the speculators. Now, again, as a show about both ways, both are fine. If you're here to speculate and make a ton of money, go for it. There's ways you can game the system. I don't recommend that for new users. You want to get in, get your feet wet, figure out what's going on, and then try to exploit the market, because there is a market in this whole marketplace, right? That's the whole point. That being said, the collectors are being put first. They're actually rewarding a lot of collectors with sets. They're putting playbook yardage in things in the playbooks now. For if you have a whole set of a legacy set, you get 30 yards. Or if you have a whole set of Move the Chain Series 2, you get yards. Things like that. They're actually trying to reward set collectors. And that, to me, is an important twist and an important part of this, because we're all football fans first, right? We're all fans of this game. At least in theory, the majority of users of this are going to be football fans first. And I think if you cater to the football fans, everything else will come behind that, right? You need football fans in order to make the speculation worth doing. You need football fans to make these moments have value. right? So the whole point of this, in general anyway, is to make sure that we're keeping the collectors in mind. And I really do believe that the head leadership at All Day is doing that. I'm not going to get into the weeds about all the whys. You can hear a lot more of that on the show. But the other thing that I think was, I mean, I would say was interesting, I guess, was that they mentioned there is a new Rumble coming out and they're getting ready to release that. So that plays right into what you were asking about with fantasy. How do we gamify this? We've talked briefly about Rumble before, and I've kind of held off on talking about it because I had a feeling they were going to do something different this year or change it up a little bit. Within Own the Moment is a separate company from Dapper and a separate company from All Day. And Own the Moment kind of relates a lot of those products together and uses, in general anyway, like analytics and marketing strategies to try to look at all of them together in one place. So they're related in a sense, but not directly. It's hard to explain. But what Own the Moment did last year, I think last year was their first year, where they released this game called Rumble, where you could use your moments as a DFS lineup. We've talked about it briefly. This year, in the next couple of weeks, we don't really know when, they're going to be releasing what they're calling Rumble Alpha, which I think might be the new version of Rumble. I think last year was Rumble Beta, which is, again, pretty common for a thing to go into beta testing. And they were kind of figuring out the wheels of it, how it worked and what kind of did well, what didn't. So they've decided now to kind of move it up to alpha stage, which I think is kind of the official version of the app, right? This is the official Rumble.
It's
and so once they, well, it's not an app. It's part of a website on Own the Moment. So OTM NFT, I think it's OTMNFT.com.
Gotcha.
But the point I'm getting at is once that comes out, we'll be able to digest that and kind of dissect that. And that's kind of what I'm waiting for. That should be coming out in a couple of weeks. But that will be the new flavor of how they do DFS contests, I should say, with your moments. And so what else was brought up was the new economy or ecosystem within Own the Moment is using what's called gold. So in theory, in a DFS right now, in a DFS lineup, if you go onto, Underdog or DraftKings or whatever, right? At FanDuel, any of these guys, all these different players, right? You put in money into a tournament and then there's a rake where the company takes a percentage of that and then they pay out the rest as a tournament winning, right? It's pretty common. It's not, I mean, everybody's familiar with this. So the way that they're doing it with Own the Moment and the way they're trying to make this work is you put in money, which is transitioned into gold. And they use this term gold as like their
currency,
fiat system, their currency, right? That's the word. Their currency. And so
it's
this currency
platform agnostic or platform monostic currency.
Well, so this gold can be used across multiple contests in multiple formats, which is kind of nice. So there was an NBA Hoops beta that just came out for Top Shot moments last year. There's also, I think it's called Blitz. I think is what it's called, where you can actually, it's a whole different kind of gamification that we're not going to get into today, but let's keep it on Rumble for a minute, right? So you buy this gold, they take a transaction fee for you buying your gold and selling your gold. But when you put that gold into a tournament, all of that gold is paid out. There is no rake on the tournament. So that means, in theory, you're paying them to donate money or to transition your money to this gold currency. And then when you take it out, I'm guessing there will be a rake on that too. But what that means is if you leave your money in the ecosystem, there is no rake, right? There's no rake until you take it out.
Piling up, even as through contests, the rake, it's basically like kind of taxing it to get it into the system.
Bingo.
Kind of like your IRA, you know what I mean? Yep. You can put it in there, but you only get taxed when you pull it out or whatever it may be.
So again, the point of this though is all of the winnings go back to the people and then they're just on a transaction side. So I think that it's a separate way to do it. It makes it more like a legal contest too, because now they're not really worried about, they're not taking a rake. It's not gambling as much because they're paying everything out. So it's kind of a way to skirt that, I think. But in the sense of too, I like that also because now I can get in with a $10 buy-in and pay just 10% of my $10 buy-in or whatever, 2% or whatever it is of my $10 buy-in and get that 500 gold and win that money and get all that money instead of taking them taking a rake out of the whole contest. So
out of every single transaction that happens, instead of them taking or some sort of compensation out of every single, contest, they're taking it out of the entry and the exit of the ecosystem. That's smart. And you're right. That is a clever sort of way to kind of circumvent I'm sure some of the licenses you would have to get and some of the nuances of all that stuff. That's smart. I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. So they can get their money entering the ecosystem. They get to, be compensated for allowing you to bring it into play without taking out of your, whatever your winnings may be. You're really just paying for access to the platform, not necessarily paying to participate in the game.
Right. And that's new this year. What they did last year was they would have contests that you could enter, but they were gated entries. So like in certain cases, there was a free for all where anybody could enter. And then there was money that they were putting out as a reward. So in theory, you would, like, if you entered a contest and there were 300 people, the first place got $50 in Dapper credit, Second place through 10th place got $20 in dapper credit. So like you were paying for actual money,
Mhm.
playing for actual money without paying anything in. It was kind of their, getting everybody on board type of thing, right?
Do you have any idea what the, is OTM or Rumble processing fee is? It's like 2% or
It's something
2.5%?
like 2%. I don't know for sure. And again, part of that I think is kind of, I don't know yet because I haven't dove into it enough. I'm waiting for alpha to come out because I'm kind of wondering if they're going to change some of that, I guess. Like I kind
Okay,
of want to, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I just want to see them release it and then dive in, which we'll do in a later episode for sure. So I don't want
okay.
to get too far down the rabbit hole on that today. What I'm getting
No,
at
but
with all this in
soon.
general, though, is that's what makes me excited. Is this is coming. This is something we can already know is happening, and therefore can plan for with our buying of moments.
Yeah. Let's okay, so we're coming back in 2 weeks, right? So that'll put us
Yep.
in around, July, mid-July. So that
Yep.
puts about 6 weeks out from football. So,
Yep.
probably about 2 weeks, I think we'll probably they should probably have something out.
That's my
What do you
guess. Yep.
let's kind of, I'm, game planning on the show, whatever you wanna do. We're talking to the community.
That's
I
it.
think
Yeah.
let's kind of lean into that next, or, maybe really dig into the rumbles or some of the gamification processes of the 2023 moments. And as I say that, coming full circle again, we'll come back to that next time. But what do we need to start looking for? Like, what kind of
Yep.
dates? What kind of, like, what kind of role? Like, is there like a 30-day mark when you think that they're going to drop something on us? 15 days, 10? Do you know, like, what should we be looking for as we come up to the NFL season? NFL kicks off September.
7th, I think.
Okay, let me
Something like
write
that.
that down.
Well, where I'm going with this too, though, and you're hitting the nail on the head, and this is where I wanted to pivot a little bit, right? There are a lot of things to keep in mind as we head toward the season. There are playbooks going on right now. There's rookie and all pro that they're doing a divisional playbook every week during the offseason for this historical two releases that they're doing. They're doing mint to completion moments. The one that's out right now as we're recording is the Lamar Jackson AFC North moment. Last week was last week was Tyrann Mathieu. The week before that was Derrick Henry. So these are historical moments, which are big plays from the history of the NFL. And so these are not current plays from the current year because, of course, it's June. We don't have a current
Mhm.
year yet. So during the summertime is when they do a lot of these historical moments and historical drops, and they do things like that to get historical moments into the ecosystem. And then they'll use those for different things, not usually as much for Rumble, as you would imagine. But again, this Lamar Jackson moment that we're going after right now, Lamar Jackson has two commons, and I want to say two legendaries and maybe an ultimate, but he has no rares. There is no rare Lamar Jackson on the moment right now. There's two
Hmm.
commons, one of which is his debut, and then two legendaries. And like I said, I can't remember if he's got an ultimate. I don't think he does. Let's say he's got two legendaries. What I'm getting at with this, though, is this will be a rare moment that they are going to mint. It has a max cap of 999, which means no matter what, out of this playbook, you are going to be earning a rare Lamar Jackson moment or another rare moment. So you're not going to get a common Lamar Jackson like we've done in the past. They've changed that rule, which I like. But where I'm going with this is this now will be a rare Lamar Jackson moment, which you can use in Rumble, right? So now if
And
you
it's
want
going
to
to
play
beat
Rumble,
out any other Lamar Jackson moment that's not rare. And then if you're going against
well,
a rare, it has
here,
to be
here let me
lower
let me
tier.
get into
Yeah.
the reason why this is different. So
Yeah.
in Rumble, there are two different angles that used to be the way, and I don't want to get too far again because they might be changing this, but total serial number was the tiebreaker. Whoever had the
Mhm.
lowest total serial numbers added up in their serial number of all of their moments. If there
All
was a
moments.
tie, the lower serial number would win. So in theory, if we both had the same lineup, if we put in the same players and got the same exact amount of points, but all of my moments were 3-digit moments, let's say 2 or 3-digit moments, and all of yours were 4-digit moments or 5-digit moments if you have 10,000, right? Point being, if you have a much higher serial number count than I do, I will win that tie. Because what they
Wow.
found, and this makes sense too, there are a lot of times you just put in the top players. Everybody puts in the same players because we all want the same moments. That's where serial numbers can help. And there literally were times last year where, 25 to 50 would pay out, but 48 through 78 all had the same lineup, and only the top two made that top 50 for payout, right? So, like, literally, serial numbers could break ties a number of times last year. I remember seeing it often. So,
Hmm.
serial numbers are one thing. And the benefit here is this rare will have less than 1,000. It will be a lower serial number than the commons, which are 3, 4, 5,000 serial number. So
Oh,
you're
okay.
guaranteed a lower serial number.
My brain
Second
is
piece,
clicking right now.
second piece of this, which you might like too, and I think FanDuel used to do this. I don't remember exactly. I know one of the sites did this, where you could put in a rare moment instead of a common moment and pick that as one of your captains. So the only way you could get a captain was if it was a rare moment or higher. So you could put in multiple rare moments, but only the rares were available to be captained. So that meant that you would get 1.25 times points or whatever it was, right? And again, I don't want to get too specific because I feel like they might be changing some of those numbers, and we'll cover that when it happens. But that's the other benefit to a rare. Not only is it a low serial guaranteed, but it gives you the option to make Lamar Jackson a captain, which he was never able to do last year because, like I said, he did not have a rare moment and only had a few legendary moments, which only a few collectors actually had. So this adds a whole new aspect to what could be a fun Rumble time, and that's why I like this playbook a lot.
Yeah, and now like my brain, if all my this is my role. My lizard brain was like,
Go for
okay,
it.
so it's like I'll play, a 1,000 serial number moment against Andrew's 999 serial moment. You know what I mean? That gives me a 1 point advantage. But if you have a super rare moment, like if you have a single digit and you play like an Andrew Luck, or not Andrew Luck, dear God, where am I
My
right
good
now?
Mark Andrews.
It's like a Josh Allen,
Yeah,
but you play a guy who has a common Josh Allen and it's 10,000. That's 10,000 differential
could be,
basically. So
could
it's
be.
not like you're going head to head versus the player, it's the whole thing. So you want
Yeah,
to kind of be always serialing down when
correct.
possible,
And this
because
is
that's
something I've been
always
trying to do
going to
this off
give
season
you a
too.
chance to
Yep.
move up in these equitable adventures, shall we say, or escapades during the
Yep.
season. So there is a reason to always be moving. You know what I mean? That's something, again, I shame on me. I mean, I have some moments and I keep looking at them and I'm like, well, I should swap this one out. I'm like, I don't know. But I'm like, if you make those decisions now to
Yep.
just do the work, serial down 50, 100, 500 when possible, it's going to pay off big in 3 or 4 months.
Very well could, right? And that's the actual fun of this is that it's all speculation in the end, just like fantasy football is. It's also we're just trying to guess at what's going to happen in the future, right? So
And it's
one of the fun.
beautiful though, because like, I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you, but
Oh no,
my
you're
mind is
fine.
so beautiful because like in fantasy, it's like anybody can pick the player. You know what I mean? Like you have the same guy, I have the same guy. Well, then it's just like, what are you going to do? It's like,
Right.
but you have decided to spend the extra 45 minutes this week doing the work, chatting with so and so, trading this, doing that. Now, while I have this special moment, I'm just as good as Andrew. No, I'm not. Because Andrew's been putting in the work behind the scenes and he serialed down like 500 this week.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just like, it's that extra level. It's kind of why I like IDP. It's that extra variable that's like,
Yes.
okay, if you are willing to move this piece, if you are willing to understand this mechanism, I mean, it's like adding a whole nother unit to your squad going to war. You know what I mean? It's like adding a cavalry to a previously only infantry army, or adding, trebuchets to, a previously only bow and arrow situation. It's like
Yeah.
don't have to have more people. You don't have to necessarily be smarter. You just have to do the extra steps and you can. I love it. I love it.
Well,
I
that's
love it.
exactly what I was going to say. This rewards people. Not only does it reward collectors who want more moments and are trying to collect a bigger set and to complete things like that and to pay attention to the marketplace and to be on the platform, but it also rewards those that have the time, energy, or desire to do more and to be better and to get better at this game and to put in the time to earn more money out of it. I think that's the way everything should be. It's somewhat, idealistic in a sense to say it, but the more time you put into something, you should get more output, right? Like that's the whole point. And
Yeah.
this is a way to reward people for doing that. So again, it makes it kind of fun too when you're buying or trading moments to look at the serial numbers. I know in some cases when I was first starting out, I would say serial number, who cares? It's whatever. It's one of the number, right? And then after, I don't know, a couple of months in series one, right as we were heading into series two. So last summer sometime, I started looking at the serials and being like, well, maybe I should get lower. I kind of like serial numbers and it's fun that they have it. And then they introduced Rumble and that became a vital part of it. I'm like, oh, perfect. That's my niche. That's my nudge to kind of like get into this niche and like go further with this. So then I started buying moments that were like $2 or $3 more, but were 3-digit serials, right? So like, for instance, you might find a Jamar Chase moment for $9 right now, a common Jamar Chase for $9. And it might be, serial number 8,000 something, right? You might be able to buy a $12 Jamar Chase moment that is 1,000. Okay, well, now I just saved 7,000 points off of my thing because I'm starting Jamar Chase, right? And so that's where it can be even for $3 for $12 over $9. And I'm just putting numbers out there, but like for that little bit of difference, you then get that reward and
Massive.
get a little bit of a boost. So that's the fun part.
Yeah, that's huge.
It all adds up, literally.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I was just thinking too, like it would be fun to, the serial numbers. I bet there's guys out there that, I mean, some guys are really into numbers. They probably
Yes.
have like all of the set. Somebody probably has all the 222s, you know what I mean, or
Well,
tries
they're
to do
trying.
that.
I know there are people that are trying to do that. The other
I
fun thing about the
remember
numbers, well,
when
and
I
I just want
very,
to
very
interject for just a second with this. There are people out there. I don't have any of these moments myself, but there are obviously serial files that are looking for the serial number one, the serial number at the end of the series, what they call the perfect serial, which is like 999 out of 999, right? The other end. And then there's jersey number moments, right? Because like if you have Jamar Chase, the number one is a jersey number
Yep.
moment. So that is a double boost on that moment, which makes it really expensive and really hard to find. And the person who has it is not giving it up, right? Or it's worth, $25,000 or some crazy amount that the guy's looking for. So again, all of this kind of adds into that same gamification of collecting and like doing what you love and like how do you want to play this game? If you like threes, go get all the threes, right? I don't whatever you feel like doing, go knock yourself out. But again, keeping that gamification of Rumble upcoming in mind is always going to work out to a good idea in my book.
Yeah. I remember when I first got into fantasy, it's probably 2015, 16, I was into the numbers. And I remember in one year in particular, I drafted Demaryius Thomas, Des Bryant, because they were 88. And there was somebody else that year in the draft there was like two other guys who were 88. I think one of them was a tight end. I just looked up Jordan Reed, but he was 86. So it wasn't him, it was somebody else. But I was kind of into that kind of stuff too early on too. I was like, this is kind of fun. Like if I get to the third round, there's an 88 player in the third round. Oh, in the fifth round, there's an 88 guy. And I was like, you know what? Let's just get all these 88s together. And it was like, that was like a thing, for me. So this is kind of a way to do that and actually be equitable, meaningful. I love it. I love it. I'm looking forward to getting my teams together, because again, for me, it's about the fantasy football of it all. I do still love these moments and stuff. And one thing, we're kind of closing out, and I know we wanted to open the pack. Before we do that, I saw you talking to the guys briefly about one of the big issues I think that seems to be with All Day is it's hard to display your moments. It's hard for people to really know, like, look, like these are the moments I have. Did you guys talk about at all? Is there any sort of back end, front end, physical, digital representation being worked on so that these moments can be flexed a little bit easier?
So not from All Day, at least that we know of yet, not officially within the platform, but there are some third-party companies. I think Nifted, NFTED is the one that's kind of trying to do the front end on this. They did what's like an Indiegogo or something, like one of those where you could back a project, and it was a little bit overpriced in my opinion, but that makes sense for us starting out. They kind of, there's a lot of costs they can trim down after they get going. But the idea was it was pretty much like an iPad that was only loaded with your NFTs, and it would cycle through them and say like, here's what you need, or here's the different moments that I want to say in there, and you would load it in there, and then it would just cycle through the moments, which I thought was a really cool idea. I know on the show, Stone Cold was talking about how he'd suggested some ways to do binders, and I think that's a terrific idea, like to be able to show off your sets in some way, or like have all of your moments on one screen, or something where like having it displayed, even if it's just a GIF of some sort, or a web page that they can go to and click on the moments and see a move. I mean, there's a bunch of ways to do this.
One thing I was thinking too, and again, it's like when you go to your moments, you can click it and it opens up and you watch it. It would be nice if you could just download it. You know what I mean? If I could download that. So
I think that there's some issue with downloading, because then of course it removes some of the NFT-ness of it, right?
Yeah,
now it's like I can download it and then send it to a friend, and then what's the point of the NFT? So I don't think
Fair.
that's going to be a thing, but I do think any way that I can connect to my NFTs and display them, I'm definitely a fan of, and that's pretty much where I'm going with this. You could screen record and do other ways, but they're not going to make it easy. I don't think that doesn't seem like part of the plan.
In my opinion, in a perfect world, I would be able to go to your Twitter. I would be able to click on your profile picture, and I would be able to see it. And then I could slide over, and then there would be like a gallery, and it would just be like, it would be connected. It would just pull them in. So I could only watch your All Day moments if it's connected via your wallet to a verified sort of platform. And that way I could see it, without going to your YouTube or whatever. And it would be cool too if they could like do like, how they have the moments at the top where they have the spaces. If they could right underneath where like your top tweet is, if there could be like a little slideshow there. So instead of going down, you could go sideways. So I could just see your moments, click them, watch it, and then I could just scroll down, and that's just one bar. And once I go past it, it's just your tweet. Something like that wouldn't be hard.
There's so many good ideas. That's a great idea. And I think what I'm waiting for though is for them to release APIs to allow programmers to do stuff like that, because I don't know what the legality is with this, right? I don't know how the back end works. There might be restrictions on how they release this information and who gets to see this. And so that's where some of this is going to have to come from All Day because of the licensing. Some of it though, maybe like you said, if it's linking to my own moments, right? I own this moment, like I should be allowed to display it, right? So we'll see what happens with that, but I'm with you. I would love a way to physically display these, at least better than they're now. I mean, again, I love them on the website, but I want to be able to put them on a wall or show them to a friend or like what have you.
Imagine going to your profile on Twitter, and instead of seeing your header, which I don't know what your header is, it's probably a picture of something really meaningful to
Oh,
you.
it's Bengals. Yeah.
Imagine what if I went there and it was just an automatic, just a constantly running feed of all of your moments,
Well, even if it's not
24/7.
on Twitter, even if it's on the platform, when I go to my collection, there's a header on there too, which doesn't mean as much at all. And if there was
Twitter
a
is
way to kind of
everything.
put like top 8 moments or something like MySpace, right? Like kind of do something like that, like pick your favorites, like display these guys. I don't know. And we could
Twitter's
get
the
all the
spinal
way down
cord of
that
the
rabbit hole.
internet.
Yeah.
Twitter's
Well,
the
I'm just
spinal
saying.
cord.
I'm just saying that's the fun stuff that we can get into later. But I think we're in a good spot. I think we're ready to open a pack and get into our play of the day. I want to do the play of the day first, my moment of the day. So let me get my screen shared on this one.
All right, I'll let you. Yeah, you got all that pulled over.
Hopefully we can get this done in a sense without any technical issues. We'll see.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
So I chose this one because we're talking about Rumble, because we're talking about how to gamify the system. This is a Justin Jefferson common. This is his only common, and it is an all-day debut, which means it's his first moment on the platform. This is out of 10,000, so there are 10,000 of these moments out there. I actually got this as a reward pack for being a fan and like putting in like a playbook pretty much. And then it was called Celebration, where they sent out these packs, and I got this for free. And now you can see it's worth $25 on the platform. This is by far Justin Jefferson's cheapest moment. So if you want Justin Jefferson, you have to pay at least $25.
$25 for this guy's
Yep.
cheapest moment.
Cheapest moment, and it's his debut because it's his only common. The others are rares, legendaries, and ultimates. Right. Woo! So he's got an ultimate out of 4, and that's actually where I wanted to go on this. I share this. I can. Well, let's do the play first. Let's do the play. So Justin Jefferson's fake to the inside, moved toward the back corner of the end zone, created the space he needed to reel in his pass from quarterback Kirk Cousins for the touchdown. This is a Series 1 moment from Week 15, December of 2021. He caught 4 passes for 47 yards and score in the 17-9 Vikings win over Chicago. So again, this wasn't his first touchdown. It was his first moment on the platform, doing the gritty there, kind of his own version of it. But again, this is what I love about this. Like, this is a classic Justin Jefferson moment. It's his first one on there. Week 15, Series 1 base common moment, and it's worth $25. So this is not going to be one that everybody has, but you can see out of 10,000, a lot of people have it, right? This is very owned. If we scroll down and look, this is where we see owned 86.95, the number that are currently owned. There's some that are hidden in packs that could be in gift packs. Yep, burned. 114 people burned this moment. There were some burns over the last year or so where you had to burn a specific receiver debut moment and things like that. The balls to burn this moment, I do not have. Let's just put it that way. And then unavailable is 0, which means that everything has been minted and distributed either in packs or in owned. So again, there are still some in packs that you can buy. We talked about this before. Some of those packs in the marketplace still have moments in them with this in them. But again, the vast majority of these are owned by collectors currently in collections, and they're on the marketplace, and you can go buy them if you want. That's the whole point of this, is that this moment, and you can see no history because I got it out of a pack. I didn't buy this. It was something that it was in a pack. I got it, and I'm happy about it. If we go to top sales, again, for this moment, nothing. You can see nothing on here. There's nothing. I got it in a pack, and I'm not selling it. This is one of my favorites. Now, this is one I would love to tear down in serial, right? And if you have a rare or legendary, the serial is going to be significantly lower than mine. But part of this was I got this for free as a reward. I kind of like that, and being like, this is my free moment that I'm using in Rumble every week. And I get that I'm way off on the serial, but I need to have Justin Jefferson in that lineup. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have him in there than not.
Down somewhere else. You know what I mean? Get
Exactly.
a tight end. Get a tight end that scores 2 points but has a 1 serial or some crap like that. See, and that's another thing too, where it's like, okay, I don't have Travis Kelce, but I played, Drew Driscoll or whoever the hell, some random tight end. He only has 1 moment, and I have, moment number 8. And I played the guy, and a Kelce 1,000 moment is still going to be 999 over.
Well, again, points matter first, right? So the more points you score, the better. But as a tiebreaker, serials can come in handy. So this is where, like, if I'm playing with Justin Jefferson and everybody's got Justin Jefferson, it's still got a pretty good serial compared. You know what I mean? Like, I've got
you're going to beat 7,000 people there, it looks like.
And I got to have Jefferson in my lineup, man. He's one of the top receivers in the league. I mean, how would I not? So I love having him in my collection. And that's, again, one of my favorite moments there. With that, though, let's get over to the other part, the other opening pack part of the show, which is honestly one of my favorites. I'm never going to get sick of this.
No,
this is the same pack we've been opening. I've got a few of these still left to go. This is a Hot Route Series 2, Release 4. It's got 4 moments in it. So it's ready to go. Are you ready, Jordan? What do you want to pull this time? What do you want to pull?
I would like to pull let's get a Steelers moment.
I knew you were going to say Steelers. I was going to say you're going to say Steelers. I want to pull I'm going to go for a 3-digit moment. I want a 3-digit serial. We're talking serials. Let's get
All
me a
right.
low serial moment. Let's see what we get. All right. So we're going to open this puppy right now. And again, you can do this yourself. You can go buy moments. You can earn packs. You can buy packs, all of that. And you can go in and have this same excitement that we're experiencing here. Let's see. Give me some good pack luck, buddy. Come on. Come on. Let's see what we're getting. Let's see what we're getting. Okay. We're going to mouse over and see. We got a common, a common, a common, and a common. Not unheard of.
Fine
These
with
are
that.
usually commons. That's fine.
We're blessed.
That's fine.
We're
Let's
blessed.
see what we get. We're going to reveal this first one. 47-43, Brock Purdy.
Ooh.
Playoff moment, his rookie moment, not his debut, but this is from his rookie year. It's a
Red
great
zone.
moment. Play action pass.
Is that a playoff
The
moment?
man, Mr. Irrelevant. This is in the playoff series. This is the Niners against the Seahawks in the playoffs.
Look at that. Look at the composure. Wow.
Look at that angle to Christian McCaffrey. Look at that.
Christian McCaffrey.
I'm telling you, this kid might be the starter for a few years. We have another Mr. Irrelevant on our hands as soon as Brady retires. When you know it.
Brock Purdy.
Anyway, great moment. I'm a fan of that. I like that.
He ain't nothing to fuck with. People think he's
No,
regular.
that's all right. That's all right. We're fine with that one.
What do we got here?
41-28.
Ooh, all right.
There's a defensive moment. John Franklin Myers debut. Oof. Get him in the backfield. Tackle. What a hell of a tackle.
Who is that?
Defensive moment for the Jets.
Hopefully that was Javonte and not Melvin. Oh no, did Andrew freeze?
Yards.
Okay, he's there.
I think we all kind of froze. These things take a lot of computer power for me. But anyway, yes, John Franklin Myers, defensive moment. Gotta love that for the IDP side of you there. Let's open this next puppy. What do we got here? Oh, all 8s. L'Jarius Sneed, 8888. I love the number there. Another defensive moment. Championship year and all-day debut.
Probably easy INT.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like,
man,
forget that. Woo! Look at that. Woo!
And look, look at this Perkins. Oh my God, terrible pass. But again, I love the numbers. 8888.
After was that somebody else? Was that Baker?
It was Perkins.
Perkins. I don't even know
Kendrick Perkins, I think, isn't it? No, that's a basketball player. I don't know who Perkins is, but he was the quarterback that threw that. Let's see if it can show us even in here.
You could have told me it was Matthew Stafford. I'd have believed you.
Well, here, we'll watch it again because it was in there. Oh, well, here, we'll get it later. I'm pretty sure it was a guy named Perkins, who, again, I'm not familiar with, but I think Stafford was out.
Doesn't matter. L'Jarius needs the moment we need to focus. All right,
Brown Bengals. P. Ryan, 1887. Man, what a beast this kid is, man. I'm so upset that he's not on my team anymore. He's going to do some numbers for Denver this year, though. Very excited about P. Ryan for fantasy. Yeah. Look at this. Bounces to the outside. This kid's got more heart than anyone I know. Like, just one hell of a runner, and he's going underrated in drafts. It's ridiculous.
He is very much like that traditional NFL back that has never really gotten the traditional NFL back opportunity. Like, he you know, that's kind of how I've kind of viewed him. He has the look. He has the feel.
So here's that Snead moment. I wanted to catch I saw the jersey on the second angle, so I want to make sure I got it right. I'm pretty sure it said Perkins. I know it wasn't Stafford. He was hurt by Perkins. See, it wasn't even Mayfield. Like, this is, who knows who this guy was. He's a third stringer. I don't even know, and that's a bad sign because I'm in fantasy pretty deep.
Obviously.
But again, one hell of a pack. Look at this. We got some badges, right? We got a good number, 8888. We got a low 1800. I mean, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this. 2 out of 5,000 mints. You know what I mean? Like,
defense, 2 offense, got a receiver, got a D lineman, got a running back. Love it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the fun you get to have with opening packs. You never know what you're going to get. And I'll be honest, these guys, Brock Purdy and P. Ryan, have some rumble value, right? Like, Brock Purdy could be a guy that you start kind of on a fluke, because in DFS, sometimes you got to stand out. You got to zig when everyone's zagging. Same with P. Ryan, right? These guys could be in my lineup in a week in a rumble, and maybe it pays off. You never know.
Got to get these guys in on some defensive rumbles. But I know you got to go, Andrew, so I won't keep you around too much longer. But I thought we had a good show, good catching up. It's that slow time of the year where it's just kind of like, I know in the next 2 weeks, it's going to football back up. You know what I mean?
I think our next show in 2 weeks. Our next show in 2 weeks, we'll have a lot more to talk about.
We got some drama, injury stuff. But I'm looking forward to really digging into this and, making this part of my overall NFL experience this next year. Any homework you want to give us or myself or the people before next time?
The only homework is what I mentioned before. Start that starter playbook if you haven't already. Send me a DM. Let me know if you need help. Use the document that we're going to link, obviously, and have that walkthrough if you need it. I'm here to help. I know Jordan may be not as helpful, but we'll get you to me, and I can help you with it. But we're here to help you get this onboarded. The only other homework I would say is go buy a moment. Go buy something on the marketplace. Buy a favorite player, favorite cereal, whatever you got to do. Go spend a little bit of money in there and enjoy the season. Get something ready for Rumble. Now is a great time to buy some dirt cheap $2, $3 moments. So go pick some players you don't have, invest $2 in a player you think you might break out. And I tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun this year. I'm looking forward to it, Jordan. And again, always a pleasure talking all day with you.
Yes, sir. All right. That's it from us, y'all. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at NFL All Day, or All Day both ways. And then Andrew at Andrew Hall. And then Jordan at 50 Shades of Drunk. Shoot us a DM. We are more than happy to be on this experience with you as we continue to dive into NFL All Day NFTs. Andrew?
It's Andrew Hall FF. I just want to make sure I add
Andrew
that
Hall
FF because
FF.
at Andrew Hall FF on Twitter. Send me a DM. I'm on Discord at Andrew Hall FF as well. If you're more familiar with that and don't have Twitter, I can get me on there too. I'm in the All Day, All Time. I'm in the All Day Unlimited. I'm in all these different places. You can find me wherever. But yeah, send us a note. We're here to help out.
Excellent. All right, y'all. Well, like I said, shoot us some messages. Let us know what you would like to hear next time from us. And yeah, we'll see you out there in the all day NFL streets.
See you guys.
Bye.